What's going on, everybody? We're back for the first edition of the season of Dynasty Talk Podcast. I am here with the usual co-hosts. I've got Trumpelo Bills and Nate Lors.
What's up, Braz?
I got Fly Society and Malcolm Priest.
Yo, yo!
And I've got Let the Wookiee Win, Chris Crack. All right, we are watching live right now Detroit Lions, Kansas City Chiefs, as Jahmyr Gibbs looks to be every bit as good as he was intended to be.
Yeah, he doesn't look as good as Amon-Ra St. Brown, though.
Yeah, St. Brown's starting to cook.
He's a rookie.
Well, I mean, this is going to be a shorter show, hopefully. We always say that, and it ends up being a longer one. So let's jump right in, though. As I always say, we're starting out with rankings.
Good.
And
Glad to climb out of the bottom.
Number 12. Who's the number 12 team in our league going into this year, guys?
I believe.
I do want to preface that we've all discussed before the podcast and came up with these rankings as a group. So these are our consensus rankings. And now at number 12, we have Young Cats.
Yeah, Young Cats going into his second season in the Dynasty League. Obviously had the number one pick at the start of last year with Breece Hall, and didn't have a first-round pick in this year's draft, but has 3 first-round picks next year. He's playing for the long game.
You know, I didn't know that, Lucas. 3 first round next year, huh?
Oh,
Yes, yeah.
That's
first-round picks.
That's an elite club that him and I both are in.
Why do you have 3 draft picks, Chris?
Because I'm a trade wizard. Absolute mastermind. The best trades that I've literally had go through in this league over the past 2 years, I have not offered a single one. They just fell into my inbox and I just hit accept.
Not only did this recent one fall into your inbox and you hit accept, you also waited for almost an entire week before accepting.
Yeah.
And had a conversation with it 24 hours prior and still hadn't accepted about it. And
Yeah,
decided at 5 o'clock this morning that that was the time you were accepting.
Yeah,
So,
but that's a less interesting
Gibbs.
story.
Oh my God, Gibbs.
I
Yeah.
know.
He's gonna get himself hurt. It's like he reminds me of Jamal Charles already. I'm just like, oh my God, don't hit him too hard.
Oh!
He should have scored.
A little delayed. But, yeah, Young Cats got an okay team for the future, in my opinion. I don't think there's anything negative to say about his team, except that he's clearly in a rebuild mode. And, again, has 3 first-round picks next year, so he's probably a couple of years out of being playoff contention.
I mean, you look at what Chris is doing. You look at what Tom did with picks. You just hit on your draft picks, you can come back real fast.
Yep.
And he still has
nice pieces,
I was just gonna say he still has boom, the sun god. First touchdown of the season.
Man.
Anyways, like I was saying, he's got like Mike Evans. That's a perfect piece to trade away to somebody who's trying to win right now for a decent haul. To be honest with you, I mean, I would trade a first-round pick for a championship if Mike Evans, I thought, was the answer, without a question.
If Ricky had a first round pick, he would definitely trade it
Exactly.
for Mike Evans.
I mean, that's something my dad could do in the future because,
he hasn't sat back either. He's made a couple trades. One of those trades getting those first-round picks next year, but specifically he went out and got Jerry Jeudy because he believes in Jerry Jeudy. And I got to give him props on that. I think that's actually a solid pick for a 23-year-old or 24-year-old, whatever Jerry Jeudy is.
Yeah, he just got to stay healthy. Jerry Jeudy is 24 years old.
He didn't draft a bad quarterback in the 4th round, though. He picked up Jimmy G, who's probably going to be a starter the whole year. It's not a bad pickup, honestly.
I meant Jerry Jeudy needs to get a quarterback.
Yeah.
No, I know. I'm just pointing out that this quarterback situation could have been horrific. But he chose not to allow it to be horrific and not go with C.J. Stroud all year long. He was proactive in the draft and drafted Jimmy Garoppolo in the 4th round.
Yep.
All right, that's a lot of conversation for what we were saying is the worst team in the league.
Well, that's why you gotta give it a shit sandwich a little bit sometimes. Let it.
Yeah. I just wanted to
come all over. Yeah.
I'm just glad it's not me this time.
Number 11. Who's number 11 in team?
We got Bill. at number 11.
Old bubble algae.
Yeah, Bubble Algae is his new name. It was Crab Legs to go last season.
believe
No,
so.
he was Reefer Madness last
Oh
year.
yeah, Reefer
That's
Madness.
And
right.
Crab
He
Legs
was
to go
Reefer
the
Madness.
prior year.
Well,
I
starting
think
at
that he's
quarterback
11.
for Bill this year, it looks to be Sam Howell. Sam Howell, for anybody that's a fantasy footballer advocate. He does have Daniel Jones, but chose not to start him against the Cowboys this week. And obviously, Kyler Murray is on his injured reserve right now, so on the pup list.
I mean, Howell plays Arizona, who should be the worst team in the league. I get it, but I'd roll with D. Jones all year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm kind of a fan of Daniel Jones as well. Because
Yep.
I don't think you don't need a top 5 quarterback to win a championship. You need a top 10. And I think it's more likely Daniel Jones is going to be that than anybody else on his roster. Anyways.
What do you guys think about Bill's drafting? He's drafted high in a lot of these drafts, including the most recent one. Obviously, you got Quentin Johnson this year, so not specifically this year, like kind of assessing that, but more like the last couple of years. Treylon Burks. He took Treylon Burks pretty early. Had options of taking Garrett Wilson, Drake London. Chose to go Treylon Burks instead.
I think it's funny that
Rashad
you just named the players you picked and forgot people like Chris Olave, but that's fine.
That you're right, and you're absolutely right. That's fair. Kenneth Walker, though, you drafted Kenneth Walker kind of early as well.
Correct.
Not early in sense of like he drafted him in one of the top picks of the draft. I mean, Devonta Smith, he drafted him as well. So I'm not trying to crap on him in terms of his drafting, but I mean, there's been some hits and some misses. You guys think he's a good drafter or
So
above average?
I think a lot of it is still like left to be determined because the Kenneth Walker situation, I don't think we really know what's going to come out of that. And Kenneth Walker looked really good last year, though. I mean, Treylon Burks,
Yeah.
same kind of thing. I don't really know if that's a miss or not yet. Like Devonta Smith, I think that's a hit. That's a perfect wide receiver 2 or 3 or 4 year team. He's not going to win you the weeks, but like I think that first year, I know he missed he missed hard on Clyde, but then I know he's picked up a bunch of running backs late, like A.J. Dillon and Brian Robinson, and Michael Carter was, but is no longer. I know he
took
had
Michael Carter in the first round, actually.
yeah, he had drafted T. Higgins, but he's since traded him to Malcolm to one of these other pieces. So like, I mean, I don't think he's been bad, but I don't think he's been. I don't think the players that I believe are good that he's drafted. That's still a few more years before we can really make that decision.
And I'm not bashing him either. He took Clyde Edwards-Helaire when he was the consensus number 1 overall as well. So I don't even give him, crap for that at all. I feel like that was probably the right pick at that time, even though there was some superstars right behind that. So yeah.
Yeah, it feels bad one to the next couple of players were Jonathan Taylor and Justin Jefferson. So yeah, it feels extra bad.
For sure.
Florida pick is not bad either that he had in the second round this year.
I don't think so.
So
he needed a tight end as well, so it made sense.
A lot of to be determined.
Yeah.
Well, that's enough on number 11. That takes us to number 10, and that is Trumpelo Bills. That's you, Nate. You got 3 players. I'm sorry, you have 4 Chiefs players all playing right now. So I mean, we might as well call you the Kansas City Chiefs, not Bills Mafia.
I don't think I can do that.
Chiefs Kingdom, I think is what it should be called.
But Nate, let's just jump right into your decision making in the draft. Jordan Addison was one of your early picks in this year's draft, outside of Jackson Smith and the Jigba. You got Jordan Addison. I'm sorry, in the later part of the first round. You also got Devin A-Chain as well. How you feeling about those guys so far after all the preseasons?
Yeah, I like them. I think A-Chain's a little banged up right now. Jackson was, but he looks like he's good to go. I think A-Chain's good to go too. Yeah, these guys are. I mean, if they can just, be the high floor or high upside guys that I want them to be, then this team's going to turn out pretty well next year.
Yeah, it looks like you're playing for the next couple of years as well. You've got a very young team.
Yeah, not to mention Roshan Johnson, who, I've heard a lot of good things about as well, especially this preseason.
Yeah, I
So.
think that's going to be a common theme for these bottom handful of teams. Is could be good in the next few years.
Yeah.
What
Oh,
the hell? That was such a god awful pull. That was one of the most unathletic things I've seen an NFL guard do. What the hell was that? I'm sorry. That was bad.
Lines right now?
It's all I literally talked about this with Lucas the other day. When I watch football, it's hard for my eyes to not stare at the line because I was forced to watch it for so long. The end zone views. Oh man, it's the greatest thing I've seen. You see his dumbass trip?
That guy?
Yeah, 52. Anyways,
I'm just impressed by C.J. Gardner-Johnson going out there and just being a stud as always. So yeah.
Look at someone think you're a Florida Gators
I was gonna
fan.
say, wow, I didn't realize
CJ
you
No,
were
off.
such a
I
huge
am a
Gator
fan of
fan.
that safety though. He's probably my favorite Florida Gator playing in the NFL right now.
There's like 4, so.
Yeah, there's not a lot. Oh, and if this is Florida State playing right now, that'd be a late hit.
Well, anyways, let's get back to who's next after Trumpelo Bills.
Well, I believe that was the former #1 pick in the draft. Let the Wookiee win. I guess all of us have moved you up about 3 spots after all of a sudden drafting Bijan Robinson.
Yeah, I mean, who else did I pick? Oh yeah, and Kendre Miller too, and then the 2 receivers this year, which one has already turned into a first-round pick next year. Um, I like my team. I think a lot of the things I've done over the last 2 years, I feel like they're about to start to pay off, but we'll see. If I'm wrong, we'll go back to the drawing board with the 3 first-rounders I have next year. But I like how young my team is and how much, honestly, young, decent depth I have right now. It's just a matter of figuring out who are the guys that I need to pay to keep and who are the guys that need to go.
Yeah, imagine T.J. Hawkinson signing the highest paid tight end in the entire league. It was probably a nice win for you as well recently.
Yeah, especially since I made trades to move up in the draft to get him when he was coming out. So it's
Yeah.
one of those. It makes me feel like whatever my process is in drafting players, it seems to be working because most of the early draft picks I have seem to have paid off so far. Jameson Williams is the only one that I'm still like, well, we'll see.
Yeah, he was an early pick. That was the 3rd overall pick.
Mm-hmm. And then James Cook, I think, is still to be determined, but all signs pointing in the right direction.
Yeah, I feel good about James Cook for you as well. So nothing negative to say about your team at all. I'm not bought into Tua, but that's just a personal preference of mine. I also don't really like Cortland Sutton very much. But I mean, that's again just
he's a part
a
of
team
the
that's
he's a part of the old guard. He's really the only one left on the roster that I think has a ring. So
yeah.
like,
You've got all your future draft picks plus additional draft picks. It's just you're doing. I mean, everything except for your own 2nd round pick next year, I should say.
correct.
But outside of that, you've got all of your own picks on top of it. So yeah, and Amon-Ra St. Brown, like we said, Bijan Robinson, T.J. Hawkinson,
Chris
Olave.
Olave. You always are forgetting about Olave.
No, I mean it's funny that I forget about the guy that you drafted over me, who I thought I still had time to get. So
No deal.
yeah, that takes us to number 7. Am I right on that, or we got number 8?
No, we're at number 8.
We are on number 8. That is Max.
Yeah.
Max recently changed his name to Mixon
Mixon
Unchained. Huh.
I think it's fitting. That's one of the
It's-
best.
it's
That's one of the
very
best
fitting.
young brewing rivalries in the league, in my opinion. So I'm excited to see what Max does. I'm rooting for him.
Him and Miss
I think
Cleo?
Tom-
Is that the...
Yeah. So
Tom-
the
Tom
Mixon
is just trying to
Unchained
have
and Miss
rivalry.
Cleo rivalry has been very enjoyable to watch play out.
They let the Wookiee plus side rivalry at this point.
What?
It's better than the let the Wookiee plus society rivalry at this point.
Yeah. Ours was good when it was good.
Yeah, this is pay-per-view right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Max's team is really not that bad. I mean, it's a lot of, like, if you're doing a traditional draft, it's a lot of 3rd and 4th rounders, and then, everybody else.
Well,
Love
like,
that.
I mean, he's got Tony Pollard, who's going in the first round.
Well, the end of the first, second, early second.
my
I took him
thought.
in the first in a different league that we're all in.
I'm not. I don't believe in it. But my thought with Max's team is like, no matter what I think of the roster when I look at it, his team always finishes in like one of the top 5 every year, and he had a stretch there where he was in the top 3, top 4 for a couple of years. It's like he has a different philosophy than me, so that's why it never looks right to me. But it always seems to work. He just needs things to go right to get to that top level. But yeah, his team's always relevant. It's always good. It's not. It's not like me where I've had 2 years now of just being not good.
Also, Max has like publicly said that this isn't his year.
Yeah,
He's kind of building for next year.
yeah, but his team's still good enough to make the playoffs easily.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just don't think he's looking to like win the league this year. You know
No,
what I mean?
no, he's not attempting to, and that's why his roster looks like that. But it's still a good enough roster to win.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's a borderline playoff team despite his ranking here.
Yeah. Well, I think there's a couple of us here that are outside the playoffs that have the opportunity to go in. Like you're saying, you're not bought in on Tua. I am. If everything works out for me, I could fuck around and make the playoffs again. I don't think I will, but I could.
Fuck around and find out. Oh, Isaiah Pacheco gets stopped at the 1. I'm 15 seconds behind you guys. I'm guessing you already saw that.
Yeah. Who's the starting right tackle for the Chiefs? Does anyone know?
It's not Eric Fisher anymore.
Yeah, I'm assuming that's who's about to score a touchdown here.
Is it Eric Fisher?
I don't know if it's
No, is
still.
it Orlando Brown?
Yeah, I think it is Brown now. No, they went their random Kadarius Toney. Man, that would have been nice for him to score too.
Oh wow.
This is so painful watching both of my players go down at the 1 yard line in
Yeah.
consecutive plays.
Nate, they're gonna do like a Jarrett McKinnon pass.
Oh, I know. It's gonna happen. Or he might just like pitch it to McKinnon and not give me the credit.
And then McKinnon will score points on my bench and help no one.
Who is this?
Jarek McKinnon in the
Rice?
flat? No.
Rashi Rice?
What? And then we all talked about how terrible he was every time we talked this offseason.
I mean, he did absolutely nothing to get open there. He's just got him.
Except for Miss Cleo. Miss Cleo knew his true intentions all along.
That's true. He
Oh,
did.
man.
Throw me now for a bullshit fantasy.
Hey, we're getting our free reading right now. we gotta pay. We gotta pay for the rest of the season.
All right, number 7, Eric, Valyrian Steelers.
We were talking before the podcast when we were doing the rankings. His top 4, like his 4 best players, you can put up against almost anybody. It's just the rest of the team that we have a problem with.
Yeah, I really think he's a playoff team no matter what we rank him as. He's definitely a playoff team. He's on a different tier than everybody else we talked about.
Yeah, I think it's because of those 4 players.
The last 2 years, right?
Yeah, ever since he drafted Jalen Hurts.
I know he's made a few moves over the year. Like I know I traded him Tyreek Hill 2 years ago. I've traded him someone else too. I can't remember now though. But yeah, I mean Eric's another one. He's very silent and I feel like he doesn't do a lot in the league, but he's always been hanging around up there in that same spot.
Yeah, he's built up a pretty good team over the years of not being really being a bottom performer, and all of a sudden now he's one of the better performers in the league. He's built up that team over the years.
Yeah, he's just been
Josh
very,
Jacobs,
very
Najee
patient.
Harris. Yeah. 2 number 1 overall picks, though. Josh Jacobs, Najee Harris.
That'll do it.
Well, we want to move on to number 6?
Yeah.
Number 6 is Potent. That's me. Yeah.
I personally think you're overranked in this and should be a few spots further down.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
Chris, the Mingo trade really got him to the spot.
Yeah,
so,
but now that you have
did.
Jonathan Mingo, I probably would raise you back up to here.
Yeah, that's fair. I can't wait till the Carolina Panthers play on Sunday.
If Jonathan Mingo's gonna have like 10 for 220 and 2, I'm just gonna be like, God damn it.
Or he's going to have 2 for 7.
Do you guys
who's the
remember
best
last
player
year
on
when
your
you guys
team?
mocked me about Christian Watson? Because I remember.
This is a different type of mocking, though.
Yeah.
In your opinion, Lucas, who's the best player on your team?
Yeah.
Garrett Wilson.
Okay. Yeah, I would agree. And then
Now, who's the
Stevenson?
second best player on the team?
I would say Stevenson.
Yeah. In terms of fantasy, like the actual value, it'd be Stevenson. But in terms of who's going to score more fantasy points and who's going to be more important to my team, Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, I should have looked at your team more closely before we ranked. I would have put you down further too. I didn't even. Jeez. You let that one slip right by.
You said you put me further down, like further back, or further up?
Yeah,
Further back.
I know you're sold on Christian Watson, but I'm still not, especially with the quarterback change. So like, yeah, I'm not too crazy. And then Drake London, there's just less work for him now because there's other people to give the ball to in that offense that wants
my
to
team
run
is
the
a bunch
football.
of second year and first year players. I'm like my entire team pretty much is like that. So yeah, I definitely had myself behind Eric as well. I'm more in Nate's and Chris's category, in my opinion, than anybody else we talk about.
Hey, Chris and Max. Tier?
No, Chris and Nate, like they're a couple years out for being very good because there's so many young players.
Oh, gotcha.
But not to harp on this, but that's why I have such an issue. That's why your trade for me is crazy. Because if you personally feel your team's that way, there's no way you should be giving up first round draft picks. You should be like receiving first round draft picks.
Yeah, and I intend on receiving first round draft pick value back regardless next year. And again, I've got 3 second round picks and 4 third round picks next year. So I've got capital to work with, and me trading to get the player that I wanted, that was the only way for me to entice Chris to go up Jonathan Mingo. He wasn't going to give him up. He hesitated about that trade regardless.
Yeah, no, there's no way I would have traded him for a second round pick. It would, yeah.
And you can't wait for the player to be substantial before making a trade. You have to make the trade before people know what he is.
Exactly.
You have to take.
I'm all for get the player you want. Like if you believe in a player or want a player, go get him. I just like from the outside, it just looks nuts.
That's how you really feel, Malcolm.
Well, when we get to my team, you guys can critique and bring it back.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say, while we're on Lucas, we might as well go over his thoughts on the trade, but I think we just did, so.
Well, the other trade that he made that was controversial, I believe we can also speak about, is their trade with the Mixon Unchained, getting rid of Mark Andrews for a bunch of, really for a second round pick in Dawson Knox is the way I'm looking at it. I think you value third round picks a lot more than I do, though.
Where's this trade? I'm trying to look it up.
So Lucas got Dawson Knox, Max's 4th round pick in 2026, and then a second and third from Julius Young Cats next year, and then he gave up Mark Andrews.
Correct.
I think, Lucas, the biggest question you need to answer is, are you afraid that Max is going to claim victory over that trade like he's doing with Tom currently and his
No, I'm happy to lose the trades on value to set up my team the way I want to. That's a lesson I learned. I don't care what Max's trash talking is. It doesn't faze me at all. I won't lie. Tom gets under my skin don't know why I allow it, but yeah, he got under my skin a little bit today. So yeah,
Oh, he's gonna love to hear
maybe it's because
that.
I was working in a store all day.
Oh no, Lucas, not for mine. That's all I'm going to see in the chat.
Well, let's get to number 5. That is Ricky, who traded it away and mortgaged a lot of his future for Damian Pierce, and
He's
he's here in the
so
top 5 now.
good.
So a win.
Yeah, it's got to be now, right? It's now or never. And the Cooper Cup news is not good news.
No, it's
Yes,
really
I
not.
agree.
I'm not gonna lie though, he's probably got one of my the sexiest players of all dynasty players. I feel like he's got like one of my favorites, Justin Fields.
Yeah, just
Justin
Ooh.
Fields.
the ceiling of
I
Justin Fields.
love Justin Fields.
You're just 100% bought on Justin Fields this year.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
not there with you there.
I would trade 3 first-round picks for Justin Fields.
Is that
I have him.
a real
I did
statement?
draft him.
There's no way Ricky would trade him for 3 first-round picks. I think we all know that after what he paid
Who's
for
ready
David.
for backup? Is this a second quarterback?
His Dak Prescott, I believe.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
And Dak.
If I'm Ricky, I would literally send that to you tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how serious I actually am, but you don't have Justin Fields anyway, so I guess we didn't admit to that, but I'll admit that happily on the podcast regardless. 3 first-round picks is a lot of first-round picks.
It's too many.
Yeah, but specifically Ricky's team, I mean, it's definitely a top 5 team. He might be better than that, honestly. I just like him. I just like the team.
You can't take down Laporta.
Can't do
Wow.
it, apparently.
Oh shit! I thought that was obvious.
Ooh.
That's a big fella.
He didn't seem very fast in that one.
No,
He
but
didn't.
he's like, what, 240, 260? Somewhere in that range?
Yeah.
He ain't going to be that fast.
All right, moving on to number 4.
He looks as fast as Gronk did.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. All right, number 4, Tom Foolery, Miss Cleo, whatever his name is.
It is Miss
Cleo.
Cleo. They just hate Jahmyr Gibbs, apparently.
David Montgomery looks good, though.
Well, speaking of those two, both on Tom's team.
Yeah,
Nice transition.
doesn't play David Montgomery.
Yeah, he did not.
Well, I like the team a lot. I don't think Justin Herbert's really panning out like I thought he would be about a year ago, but that's just me.
I think
But
that
I also think Sorry,
might.
go ahead.
I think that idea might change after this year, though.
maybe.
Hey,
I also
better.
didn't like him taking Anthony Richardson where he took him either. So
Yeah,
I
'cause
think Tom's has like the most potential to either be really good or be like a bottom 5 team.
yeah.
I think he's got the most variance.
fair. I think you spoke too soon about Jahmyr Gibbs, though.
I mean, they still have only
If
given
Herbert-
the ball like 3 times.
If Herbert is not a top 5 quarterback this year, do you give up on him?
I don't give up on him completely, but I give up on the idea that I have a guy that can finish in the top 5 every year. Yeah, I don't think he has top 3 upside anymore. I think he has top 5 upside. But as long
I
as
think
he's
he
a top
becomes
10 guy,
that
I'm fine with it.
And maybe that stops Tom from
Uh-oh.
trading Anthony Richardson. We don't know.
Oh,
I think Tom's plan is to trade Herbert, like, to be completely honest. Because I think he wants to move forward with Anthony Richardson the next year or two. So,
It's a very high possibility. He's
It
tried
might
to
not
trade him
matter.
to me.
yeah, it might not matter about Herbert. All right, keep it moving.
Yeah.
Oh, he's got Sean Tucker. Oh man.
number 3.
Yeah.
That is Fly Society, Malcolm.
Yeah.
Oh, he's fast as shit. Yeah, he's fast.
Malcolm at 3.
Yeah, I
Lamar.
think that's
Malcolm's
about right.
is pretty great. Lamar Jackson looking pretty good. He's got a
Yeah.
number 1
This
weapon in
is a
Zay
pretty good
Flowers.
team.
But I mean, this is one of the first times in a long time Malcolm's fallen out of the top 2.
True.
I think it's fair.
I mean, it's been years, probably.
I don't
I think
know.
it's all because of the Kelsey injury.
Yeah, the Kelsey injury, I think, is really what's making it where I'm not so sure he can. He's got the legs to do it again. Literally.
So we haven't talked about this like beforehand,
Oh
but
my
how many
goodness.
times do you guys think the best team in our league has won the league? Actually,
Not that many.
Oh,
like
Cause,
Chris,
Bubble.
your two championships. Do you think you have the best team
no.
in either of them?
Nope.
Like
The
I only think
second,
my undefeated season.
the second year maybe, but the first year definitely
Yeah,
not.
yeah.
Definitely
Like
not the
my
first year.
with with my two, I think the undefeated one, of course, and then the second one, like I don't even think I won the division. So
Yeah,
I don't know. You don't have to have the best
Lucas
team
won
to
the
win.
division that year.
Yeah, the division. The time I won the division, or both times I won the division, neither time I was predicted to win.
Doesn't
Actually,
matter.
I think you
Division.
guys ranked me top two one time, but never number one.
I mean,
Either way,
my team's pretty good. Yeah, my team's pretty good. It can lose. It can win it all. You know,
yeah, your
I'm
team
trying to
is
hit this
definitely
window.
on. You're on an even playing field with both the top other two teams as well. So,
Yeah.
in my opinion,
I would agree.
you're all in that same tier.
Yeah, the spread for the games with you all shouldn't be that big.
Well, that takes us to number two, and this is our Super Bowl runner-up last year, and that's Rick. It hurts when I furt, I believe. I don't even know his team name anymore. I'm guessing that's it.
He is my Balzac Ertz and has been for a few years.
Okay, fair.
He was a Ertz, whatever the hell you just said, whatever that one was.
Yeah,
That's what he was the year he won.
The first year or the year?
The first year, yeah.
Well, his team is just excellent. Very, very deep across the board.
His team's healthy. This is the first year his team's got like nobody's on the IR that shouldn't be. His team's so deep, man. It's good.
Yeah, because he's always had multiple guys injured, so it's never been able to be as deep as it should be. But now
it's all panned out.
Yeah,
like trades.
It's just got to stay that way.
Huge. James Conner is in a great situation still, despite everything. Like he's just had things work out in his favor. Cam Akers still relevant.
Rice is just sitting on his bench. Charbonnet. So Zach. If there's a injury in Seattle, he's just sitting there. He's got Javonte Williams sitting on his bench. I mean, Jared Goff is crazy to think about, just sitting on his bench.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, he's got Evan Ingram sitting on his bench.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I didn't scroll down far enough. Yeah.
There's nobody.
George Pickens is on his bench. Is he really?
Yeah.
That's so stupid. I've been trying to trade him for George Pickens since I drafted him. And Alan Lazard. Yeah. Shit. Although Keyshawn Vaughn, Myles Gaskin, and Zamir White, and Chase Edmonds, they all can go.
Yeah, your dad's not great about moving on from people, but I still respect him for his loyalty to drafts. He's old school like that.
I thought it was a fluke that his team beat me last year in the playoffs, and then I look at it, I'm just like, I mean, that team's good. Team's just good.
Wasn't that the game that Jalen Waddle just went off when he beat you?
I think it might have been.
Yeah, and I'm lower scoring week where he just scored. I mean, that was going to be him. Even if Jalen Waddle just had a normal game, so it is what it is. I'm not bitter. I would have beat Fife the next week, but I'm not bitter or anything.
That's why it's so hard to win. You get so comfortable doing it, don't you, Malcolm? When you just do it year after year, and then you go again, you get so used to it, and then you're just like, wait a minute, maybe this is hard for some people.
Nate and Lucas, you know what we're talking about, right?
I can't say that I do. I know Jonathan Mingo is going to help me get there one day, though. I just know it. So
you know what? I hope for you that he does. I really hope he does.
You'll never hear the end of it. That is the case.
Unless
I mean, specifically not you, Chris, but just everybody else has been talking crap.
Oh
They won't
yeah.
hear the end of it. But yeah, Chris is so hesitant on taking this trade in the first place. I know what his true feelings are, so yeah.
It just depends on who I take with the draft pick. Like, regardless of what Kadarius Toney does, Nate will never forget that I took Chris Olave for Kadarius Toney.
Yeah, that alone feels insane to me. But the crazy thing is that I don't think Nate would have taken Chris Olave there had he had the pick anyway. So
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, well, we won't see, but
no, Nate would have taken an Elijah Mitchell type there.
yeah, probably.
Well, that takes us to number one. Number one is Fief. I sent out those rankings at the beginning of the guys' years. I think you guys were probably all pretty surprised as I was to learn that Fief really hasn't been very decent, besides maybe that first year,
Mm-hmm.
until the last 2 seasons. So he has spent his entire time of this entire league building up for the dynasty that he's created. So again, got to respect him for doing it right. He did it through the draft. He built up over the years, and then not just that, but he also traded with me to get Joe Burrow when he believed in Joe Burrow. Something that was not a great trade at the time either. He traded his future first round pick for a player that was drafted at the end of the second round,
Well, that and
and it ended up
then
being
also
better
he
for
had
the
the other trade that he made was like I know Tom likes to talk about setting the market. It's funny how like I feel like the market is completely different for each person depending on who you're traded with. Because like, for example, I traded Derrick Henry 2 years ago and only got a first and second out of it. That was to Fife because he just I tried to get 2 firsts for him from everybody in the league and everyone denied it. So I moved to first and seconds, and that's the one that got taken. Same with Tyreek Hill with Eric. It's just I don't know why nobody was willing to give me 5 first rounders for Tyreek Hill 3 years ago, but I was able to get 6 picks, one first and 2 seconds for Kareem Hunt when I didn't even ask for it. So like I don't understand the market in our trading anyways. So
I think
Fair.
Ricky blew up
I
that
agree.
market. That market was blown up after the Ricky trade.
well, I mean Max traded me like the 103 for Antonio Gibson 2 years ago too, and I'm just like I don't think that value has worked out. Like,
But
Yeah,
real quickly, like that's the whole thing I don't get with Tom's market thing is like the market's not the same for everyone. Like
it's not.
I
Yeah.
traded, for instance, I traded a second round pick for the tight end for
Pat
San
Fryer.
Diego last year.
Oh no,
No, no, no,
Gerald
no,
Everett.
no. Gerald Everett to Nate, which was like a complete overpay. But for me at the time, like I was like, I'm so whatever, man. I felt great about that trade, and he ended up being like a top 8 tight end, whatever. But anyone else, that trade is crazy. Like no one else would make that trade. The market is not the same for anybody else in like any other team. It's just
Yeah.
where your team's positioned, what you're trying to accomplish, and that's it. Like I don't know.
That's the
It's a
beauty of
big
dynasty
people
trades,
market.
though, is that we create our own market for what it is that you want to do with your specific team,
Yeah.
and that's game changing to other leagues. You can't even decide what a market is, so that's why his argument's flawed to begin with. There's no such thing as a market anyway. It's pretty much just ever changing, no matter whatever anybody feels, and it changes depending on the season as well. As it gets closer
Yeah.
to draft time, things change. As it's falling away for the season starting, things are changing again. Like it's going to consistently keep changing and have an ebbs and flows of the season no matter what. So he's wrong regardless of how he wants to interpret it. But yeah,
It's
the
a
market's
also
never
Silk
dictated.
World, Silk Road. That's what it
Yeah,
is.
well, it's never been changed at all. Like no one's ever been like, oh well, Kareem Hunt costs that much, then now I have to pay this much for my. It's never worked that way in the first place
No.
anyway.
Yeah.
It's never been. So history has dictated that that's not the case regardless. So, but I don't know. Are we done with the top 10? I think we were done anyway. It's kind of already in the not locker room talk, water cooler talk.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
That
think we're
was our
done.
top 10. I mean, I know the only thing I was interested in talking about was the heated matchup between Mixon Unchained and Miss Cleo, but we kind of talked about that a lot too.
Yeah, I mean it's the best rivalry in our league.
Currently,
Miss
yes.
Cleo, yeah, Miss Cleo, formerly Tom Foolery.
We need a poll.
He picked a bold adversary. I mean, he went after Max. Max is You guys all know, like we've known Max a long time, and he's always been the alpha of our group. I mean, he was like one. He's always been the guy that we always really hoping you guys would be quiet for this rant.
No, we couldn't.
Regardless, I mean, Max is a tough guy, and I think he's messing with the wrong guy. So I like to see how
Oh,
how
Max
this
certainly
rivalry
ain't gonna
goes.
back down from anybody. I remember
Yeah,
when
Max
remember
will
he
not
tried
back
to
down,
blindside
regardless.
me when we were playing like touch football at Trotwood the one day.
I was there.
Yeah.
I was there.
Yeah. Oh man, that's
No,
funny.
if you're gonna try to argue with Max, you're gonna have to like be ready for an all-out war that's gonna last
Yeah,
until the end
because
of time.
even if he can't,
That's a good way of putting it.
even
Actually,
if you feel like you've won the argument, he'll just keep hammering you with stuff until you just want to give up. You're just like, fine, whatever, man, you win. You fucking win. Like,
I agree. That is definitely Max. He's gonna do it till the. This will go on for years. As long as Tom plays in this league,
oh
this will
yeah.
go on for a while.
Well, cause
Like we all
Max,
know that, which is why we're getting excited.
yeah, Max loves that shit, or at least it feels like he does. He loves stoking the fire.
Shout out to Max. I know he's getting married soon, so yeah, he building an forever relationship with a adversary in our dynasty league. At the same time, you're getting married, so life changes for him all around.
Yo, what happens when like Max has a kid and then like we're like Chris's dad and we're playing with Max's son and we got to deal with like Max and Max's son if he has one.
In fantasy
And
football.
just
Yeah. Winter's gonna beat his ass though, so I don't know. So,
Thank you for the poll, Nathan.
No problem.
we're gonna have to definitely get my vote in now.
all right. So last thing,
I love how I could live watch what you were choosing right there.
Oh,
the last thing before. Oh wow. Last thing before we let this podcast end. Everyone gonna go around the
Fucking
room real quick.
Rashi Rice, my goodness.
is
Anyways,
he the best receiver in the league?
yeah, he's the best receiver on the field right now.
Your dad's went to number one just right there.
Yeah, my dad's
Number
just
one.
laughing like, you all said he was terrible.
Anyway, I want everybody to pick who they think is going to be in the Super Bowl, and we'll start with you, Nate.
Oh boy.
Not NFL teams. Our Super Bowl, just to be clear.
Oh. Okay. I'm gonna go with. Now, does it have? It has to be on both sides. Of the division?
No.
Our Super Bowl can be anybody from any division. It has been before many times.
Yeah, because Malcolm and I played each other twice, and we were in the same division.
All right, then I will say Malcolm and Fief.
All right, Malcolm.
That is my Super Bowl as well, which means it's going to be fighting like your dad again.
Oh yeah, sorry, Nate. Who wins out of that matchup?
Oh. That's tough. If Kelsey's healthy, I'll go Malcolm.
Okay. Malcolm, you pick yourself as well, right?
No, I take Fife right now because we got to keep the good juju going while we're starting with Kelsey hurt.
Fair. All right, Chris.
Hold on, I gotta react to the Miss Cleo. That shit cracks me up every time I see it. I definitely think it's, which we haven't announced this new one yet, the adopted or nah with Fife, which I think is funny. I think he's gonna be in it, and it's the other spot. It's hard because I really think there's like 4 teams it could be. But yeah, I think it's probably going to be a rematch again, and my dad will be back.
Oh, the rematch.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Oh, Lucas. Oh, mic drop.
Oh
That is
yes.
great, man. That's chef's kiss.
It's a pretty big
Yeah,
dreidel.
I'm on Discord. I'm on Discord a lot, and this is the similar gifts. So, yeah. Um, by the way, just to wrap things up real quick, I'm gonna throw a surprise in there. I got Thief as well, and I have him winning. That's not the surprise. Surprise is who he's playing, and that is going to be Ricky. New league, new Rick makes it there. Justin Fields helps him get there. Not only that, Damian Pierce has a big win in the conference championship. Our big,
What
our
is
big.
Patrick Mahomes doing? Sorry.
No, you're good. Just wish I wasn't 15 seconds delayed. But yeah, that's it for our show, guys. Unless you guys have anything else to add.
I picked that
Wait,
my
you had-
dad's gonna win. Actually, that was my prediction.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did
Okay.
I thought we were past that. I'm sorry. So your
Wait,
dad
who are
beats
you
who?
picking, Lucas?
I just picked Thief over Ricky in the
Okay,
championship.
you picked FIFA over Ricky. Okay.
Correct. I think Ricky sneaks his way into the championship.
So we got 2 Fiefs, a Malcolm, and a Rick.
Yep.
Yeah, sounds right.
I don't even know if we're saying his last name right. I've always said it Fife. I just am saying Fief because that's what you're saying.
No, all right.
Thief is
So
the nickname.
to clear it up,
Yeah,
Fife,
please.
yeah, Fife is his last name. Fief was the nickname.
Okay. So we're both right.
Yeah.
Well, that's our show, ladies and gentlemen. I will wrap things up. Yeah, my wife's like, or gentlemen, because there's no women listening. We know that.
That's true.
So that is our show. I'm Lucas Potent. That is Nate Trumpelo Bills, or whatever his name is these days. That is Malcolm Fly Society. Thank you for keeping your name always the same. Same goes for you,
Will never
Chris. Love to
change.
get you in.
Well, Chris changed his name.
I did change my name.
Yeah, by one letter.
I had
Just to fix
misspelled
spelling.
Wookiee the first 7 years and just it totally didn't even notice. Yeah, but that's fixed now, remedied. Still let the Wookiee win. Still says the same.
All right, guys. Well, great podcast. I say we do this again in 3 or 4 weeks' time.
Yeah.
All right. We'll talk then.
See ya.